Hello everyone. This video is going to be about a little history preservation. What I'm going to be doing is marking the graves of three ancestors of mine that two of them are totally unmarked graves and the third one is marked, but the stone has been damaged. And if you weren't, be honest, if you weren't familiar with who was buried there and was looking for the inscription on the stone, you might not be able to tell what it was. You can barely make out the name and the dates enough to, if you are familiar with and looking for who's buried there, then you'd be able to know. This is one of the markers that I've got, and you can see it's not very big. It's about 12 inches by maybe, I don't know, 5 inches. And it's only about an inch thick. So I'm kind of concerned that if I just was to put that on the grave like that, maybe dig down a little bit, that it wouldn't be very secure because it's not very thick. And I'm afraid it would either get knocked around, or maybe if it was that low to the ground that eventually it might be covered up by the turf. So what I've done, I've got these stepping stones. You can see it's underneath it there that I bought, and they're about 2 inches thick. So that's going to make the total thickness of this about 3 inches. And we're going to bond that to the grave marker, to that stepping stone. Then we can bury the stepping stone where it's just pretty well covered up, and what'll be sticking up will be the grave marker. This is what we're going to use to bond the marker to the stepping stone. You know, it works pretty good. There you can see one of the markers that I had already done before I started making this video. I was just trying to see if this would bond, and it's been that way for a few days now, and it's pretty well secured to the stepping stone there. I don't think you could pry it apart very easily. Now we've got the adhesive applied to the grave marker, and we're going to turn it over and bond it to the stepping stone. Now we have that one in place, so I'll sit it down off the table and we'll finish up the third one. Okay, we have the third stone grave marker bonded to this. Now we've got the third grave marker bonded to a stepping stone, and you notice that it's not centered in the middle, and that'll be apparent when I put it down at the cemetery. I'll go ahead and tell you why. It's going to go on the grave that's already got an old broken marker, and I'm going to be pushing this up right up to against where the base of the old marker was, and I wanted to bury all of this so that this would be right up against the old marker, wouldn't be stuck out and wouldn't be as likely to get hit by a lawnmower. Now I've got all three markers done, and we're just going to let them cure for a while until I get a chance to take them to the cemetery and put them in place. Okay, I'm in Double Springs Presbyterian Church in Gibson County and getting ready to put down the first stone. And this stone is for William Asher Stone, who is my great-great-grandfather. Okay, now we have the stone down for William Asher Stone. He was born October the 1st, 1813 in Lawrence County, Virginia. Died July 19th, 1864 here in Gibson County. Like I say, he is my great-great-grandfather. For all my McEwen kin, he is the father-in-law to William Milton McEwen. William Milton's wife, Mary Ann, was a Stone. Her maiden name was Stone, and this is her father. And buried right next to him is his wife. That's pretty much how I knew where he was buried at. All the records did tend to indicate he was buried in Double Springs, and since his wife is buried right there, I figured that he had to be right here, because on the other side is one of their children. Some of the records in Ancestry refer to him as Reverend William Asher Stone. I'm not sure if he was a preacher here at Double Springs or not, but some of the records in Ancestry do refer to him as Reverend William Asher Stone. So there we have his grave finally marked. This marker I'm going to put down is for James Andrew Allen. He actually already has an old marker here, but as you can see, it's broke into several pieces. I was able to make out the name and the date to make sure that that is where he's buried. Plus he's buried. He is also kin to me through the McEwen line. His daughter, Mary Frances Allen, married my great-grandfather, James Harvey McEwen. So Andrew Allen here is my 3 times great-grandfather. And so we're going to put this new stone down just right in front of where the old stone is. Okay, so we've got the stone for James Andrew Allen placed in the ground. Like I say, he is my 3 times great-grandfather. He is probably the oldest ancestor, or the first ancestor that I have that came here to Gibson County. He appears in the 1850 census in Gibson County. I can't find him anywhere in 1840 or 1830, so I don't know where he was then. But if he's in the 1850 census, he probably came here sometime during the 1840s. And so, like I say, he's the first ancestor that I have that came here to Gibson County, Tennessee. So now, what we're going to do is put the stone down for Dorcas Wright Allen, if I'm pronouncing her first name right. And that is James Andrew Allen's wife. She's born 1795, died 1879, and so we'll start getting ready to put her stone down now. now we have the stone down for Dorcas Wright Allen, right next to her husband, James Andrew Allen, excuse me. Some of their other family are here. There's a son buried right back there, and some of their grandkids buried right here. So finally, after some time, their graves are marked. His had a marker, an old marker that is broke. I don't know what hers was ever marked with. She died several years after him, so I'm sure her grave was probably marked at one time, but something probably happened to the stone. I probed around to see if I could find it here, like it had been buried underground, and didn't see anything. But their graves are finally marked now. So there you have it. We've managed to mark two graves that were not marked at all, and one that had a broken marker that more than likely, unless somebody really knew what they was looking for, they would not been able to identify who was buried there. So a little bit of preservation of history, some family history for me, and saving the sites of burial sites of some early people here to settle in Gibson County, Tennessee. So if you like this video, be sure and hit the like button, and feel free to subscribe to the channel. And until next time, so long everybody.